Michigan State's Mark Dantonio, Indiana's Kevin Wilson joining us now here on the set. Coach Dantonio, I'll start with you. Michigan State had never won 11 games in a season before 2010. It's been a historic run. You've done it 2 seasons in a row now. The only thing that's missing is that elusive BCS bowl bid. How much are you using that as a motivator as you head into this year?
Well, we're trying to keep things in perspective, and go one game at a time as we go through this. But there's no question I think we're motivated to try and finish some things we haven't been able to do. And I think that's always what's going to continue to motivate you, whether it was go to our first bowl game back in 07 or whether it was to get to a national championship game or a BCS game or to whatever it is. I think you just gradually plan, build your foundation, and plan your way through it, and that's what we've tried to do. What's the biggest thing you need to do to take that step? I think what we need to do is obviously finish that last game, and then obviously you have to try and repeat what you've done. And so we're sort of like playing a board game. We got to go back to the starting blocks now and then repeat what we've been able to do. And it's an extremely competitive conference. We've got a tough out-of-conference schedule, so it'll be a task. Kevin, year 2 for you at Indiana. What are the biggest differences we should expect from year 2 to year 1?
I'd like to think the opportunity to compete a little bit more consistently and give ourselves a chance to win games. Where Mark talked about the foundation, the process, and results aren't near what you want and you like and what you're aspiring to be and what we're going to be. But I do like a foundation we've set. I do like our plan and our process. And we're climbing a hill and we got to climatize. We're slowly working up that hill. So we'll see as we have had hopefully a great summer. We're like everyone a week out from starting and hopefully a place to be a little bit more productive and play Big Ten quality football at Indiana.
Coach Wilson, we talked about leadership, targeting 12 guys that would be able to be leaders. But not only those 12, but the second line, 12 guys. Where did that philosophy come from?
I had a military group came in and kind of stumbled into it. What I got, I remember some teams recently when I was at Oklahoma, and we still complained about not having good leaders and on a great football team consistently, and still complaining as coaches. And I got from a group that as coaches, instead of saying we don't have it, we got to develop it. No different than developing strength, developing your program. We have to develop leaders. So have just embraced the thought process. And the only reason why we did, we had 84 guys in spring. I want to get my guys managing a group of 6 or 7 or 8 guys. 12 became I'm not trying to make it an isolated group, but I put 12 guys in charge of groups and gave a guy a second in command to help them and start policing ourselves and let coaches coach football and try to teach our team how to lead itself a little bit more.
Mark, a couple years ago after the Alabama bowl game, you made a point about getting more athletic up front, both offensively and defensively. It certainly looks like you have. Talk to us about that development.
Well, we've developed over time. I think, much as Kevin has said, over time you try and look at your weaknesses and build on those different things. And we've always had tough times developing depth, in particular at the offensive line. So we've addressed those problems. We just keep, chipping away at our problems. And right now we've got, 6 or 7, maybe 8 guys who've got starting experience, and we've got depth on the offensive line, and we've got depth on our defensive line. And I think, when you really look at a football team, it usually starts up front. You've got to have great skill players, but you also have to control the line of scrimmage. And so we've been able to account for that. Now we have to play. And we've got experience, but now we have to play and play through some tough times I'm sure that we're going to have.
Coach, you talked about being discussed and talked about on the national scene. What is the importance of that for you and your team?
Well, I guess we're in the conversation. We still haven't been to the Rose Bowl, but we're a little bit in the conversation in terms of, hey, you got to be concerned about Michigan State, and that's a good thing from a confidence standpoint. But that also keeps you hungry, I think, as a football team. There's certainly goals out there that we have not been able to make yet, and we just got to continue to concentrate on those and move ourselves forward. But understand that, this game is very fleeting, and it hangs by a thread and balance so many different times. So we found a way to win the close games over the course of the time here. We found a way to win games away from home, and we haven't been beaten at home in 2 years. So those 3 factors are leading up to some success right now.
Kevin, compare your roster, spring 1 to spring 2, summer 1 to summer 2.
Well, for example, in summer 2, we've had 110 kids on campus going through summer voluntary workouts, and 105 is our preseason limit. So we've even embraced a lot of walk-ons within our state to even come early and be a part. 7 JC guys, 6 on the defensive side where we needed some help. We're only going to have 5 senior scholarship players, got 3 walk-ons, so we're still young. A lot of young guys. I do like our freshman class as well. For us, maybe a better piece of clay to start with as we build, but we're going to be a developmental program. We've made a commitment, facilities and coaching staff and weight room is developing, so we'll play a lot of young freshmen again, I believe. I think the freshman class is maybe better than last year, so we're still young. We're still developing. Like Mark said, depth in lines, quality depth at tackle position, D-line positions. We're going to be fragile in that areas, and as coaches, we got to hide those weaknesses, develop them, and move forward from there.
You have a new offensive coordinator in Seth Luttrell, kind of a similar background to you. There are some places that coincide. Should we expect anything to be different philosophically, offensively? How similar is it going to look?
Well, to me, our defense really struggled, and we got to play so much better there. But even as we play better defense, it's going to be a developmental process and time to get even close to playing quality Big Ten defense. We got to score points, and that's hard in this league because of guys like this guy. It's one of the best defensive guys and his D coordinator. But we got to find ways to score points, and I really feel with the youth we have, the line we have, Trey Roberson, an athletic quarterback, but we're not going to score a boatload running zone read play after play after play, and I don't know if we're an eye come at you downhill team. My deal was to get back to some of the past I was used to at Oklahoma. We haven't changed offense, we haven't changed terminology, we haven't changed plays, but trying to see if we can make some strides in the passing game, because we're not a great running team, but we got better, but we don't have balance because we're not a quality passing team. And with balance, you have a chance to score, and if we can score, we can start being competitive and have a chance to win.
Coach Dantonio, interested in your passing game as well. You have a new quarterback, Andrew Maxwell, lost your top 3 receivers. What should we expect from that facet of the game?
Well, Andrew Maxwell's been in our program for 3 years. He was a very highly sought-after quarterback. He's a composed young man. I think he's got toughness. He's got great arm strength and mobility. He was a 6'7", high jumper plus. So there's a lot of great things there to work with. The one thing he hasn't done really is make the plays at the end of the game or in a tough situation that creates a win or loss situation for us. Same with our other wide receivers. They're talented, and we have guys there now, but they're short on game experience. So much like 08 when we were playing with Keyshawn as a freshman and some of these other guys were young players, but that's college football, and it's developed. So we're going to take our time, but address our weaknesses and continue to just chip away and try and get things squared away.
Mark Dantonio, Kevin Wilson, thanks guys.
Thanks guys.